Hello and welcome to the 6 Secrets of Success. I'm William Wadsworth, founder and head tutor at youngbusinesscreators.com. I just want to take a moment to say a very warm welcome to the course and to give you an idea of what to expect over the next 6 days. I've created this course to help young people get the best possible head start in life, whether you're at school, college or university. I hope that what you learn over the next 6 days will be instrumental in helping you on your way to achieving great success in life. Now, great success for you might mean the big house and the fancy car. It might mean respect and fame. It might mean doing something good for the world, or it might simply mean proving yourself and showing the world what you're really capable of. But whatever your ambitions, the tools you learn in the 6 Secrets of Success, I hope, will be your ticket to getting there faster and more easily. I'm going to teach you how to get to the heart of what people want, something that, as a Cambridge-educated psychologist, I hope I can offer a unique insight on. And that will allow you to make unrefusable offers, to get the ungettable and reach the unreachable. I'll teach you my 3 golden rules for writing brilliantly. Now, I wasn't always a great writer, but once I figured out the right strategies relatively late in my university career, I started to land way more interviews and even some fantastic unadvertised internship opportunities with my letters and emails. I'm also going to show you the 4 tactics that high performers and champions use to deliver on big, audacious, long-term dreams and turn them into realities. But I'm just going to start today, here on day 1, with the success skill that I personally have probably had to work the hardest on over the years. It's a skill we all learn as babies, but many of us never truly master it. It's the skill of speaking, not just any old how, but speaking well. When we can speak well, we're immediately more impressive as individuals, making a warm and confident impression with whomever we meet. But more than that, I think being able to speak really well is a shortcut to shining in life in so many ways. You'll find that good speakers are the ones whose remarks are listened to in committees, meetings, seminars, even friendship circles. Employers love good speakers because they perform so much more highly in so many different settings, from internal board meetings to going and presenting on major conference stages. And if you want to work for yourself and become an entrepreneur like I eventually did, it's essential to be able to sell to customers, recruit good employees, and pitch to potential partners, investors. Being able to speak well is not the only skill you need to succeed here, but when you can speak well, it makes it all far, far easier. All that said, the art of speaking well is not one that's learned overnight. It's not about using longer or more fancy words, or about putting on a particular accent, or about faking some kind of bubbly, extroverted personality, if that's not who you are. Instead, I think the art of speaking well is about staying true to yourself, but thinking more carefully about the meat of what you want to say, the points you select. Thinking about how you structure your language and organise your thoughts to make things clear for your listener. And it's also about your delivery style, how to train your very voice itself to sound more characterful and interesting, while remaining totally natural and authentically your voice. I can't teach you all of those things in a day, but what I can teach you in just the next few short minutes is a little known technique that you can put into action immediately that's going to have a transformative effect on your ability to command attention and respect and to get your points across beautifully whenever you speak, whether that's at school or college, in interviews, or in the next time you're called up to perform in a presentation or speak on a stage. The technique is called signposting. To show you how it works, I'm going to go for a little walk in the country. Let's see how I get on. So I'm out and about and I'm trying to find my way home, and I'm at a junction. I've got a path going off down the hill there and another road going off that way, and I'm thinking, which way do I go? I'm totally lost. So I've come a bit further, and this junction by contrast is very clearly signed.
If it was like this all the way, I'd feel much more confident, much more in control, and I'd feel like I could just follow the path for as long as I'd want to, rather than wanting to give up and go home.
When you have something important to say, I want your listeners to feel the same way. Not lost and feeling like they want to give up on listening to you, but rather confident, in control, and knowing exactly where they are in your message. And you can achieve all that in your speaking using signposting, just as the signposts in my walk stopped me from getting lost.
This guy can be a bit of a windbag, but you've got to admit, he knows his stuff.
Oh, stop it, you. That'll do for now. Let me give you a practical example of this in action. One great way to use signposting is simply to number your points before you speak them. Okay, I think there are 3 points to consider here, and then to refer to which number you're on as you go. First, second, third. So rather than the usual jumble of points that just spills out all at once in a random order that's really hard to follow, you might say something like the following. Okay, I think there are 3 reasons I think this is a good idea. Firstly, blah. Secondly, blah blah. And thirdly, blah blah blah. Let me show you the before and after difference, illustrating first how most people speak, that messy stream of consciousness jumble, versus what happens when I make the same points but layer on some signposting. By way of example, let's say you're talking to that family down the street about a plum babysitter job they've got going. You're chatting to the mum at a barbecue, and she says, "Hey William, I hear you're interested in that babysitter job. Do you have much experience with kids?" Now, most people without any kind of speaking training are doing pretty well at this point if they manage to string together anything at all coherent in these kind of off-the-cuff encounters. They might say something like, "Yeah, well, I once looked after a boy over the road every week for 2 months, and he loved me. And there was this other time I had a really difficult kid, but I managed just fine because I have a very good way of soothing children. And I'll always show up on time and be totally reliable. You know that because I'm a competitive swimmer and I get up at 6 a.m. every morning. Plus I'm saving up for college, so I'm very keen on educational play, and I'd really like the job if you'll have me." There's some good points in here, but for most people that's incredibly difficult to follow. It sounds jumbled, confused, and I just want to give up on listening to you. Maybe it would be good enough to swing it for that babysitter gig, but if this was a university or job interview where there are 10 or 20 other guys or girls out there going for the same place as you need to shine. And a great way to shine is by starting to layer on some signposting with these kind of multi-point questions. Listen to the difference when I pitch myself for that babysitter job, taking the same points, but adding the signposting. "Yeah, sure, I'd really love to be considered for the job, and I think I'd make a great choice for 3 reasons. First, I've got a lot of experience looking after kids. I've looked after 2 other children in the neighbourhood over the past year, including one child who's normally very difficult to calm down. Second, you can trust me to be reliable. I'm a competitive swimmer, so my rigorous training schedule has taught me the importance of being on time. And third, I'm always interested in educational play with children. I'm hoping to go to college myself, so I understand how important it is to develop thinking skills from an early stage. I'm available pretty much any evening, so I'd love to take the job if you'll have me." That's so much better. You'll notice how I said there were 3 points I wanted to make. I'd really love to be considered for the job, and I think I'd make a great choice for 3 reasons. And then I numbered them off as I got to them. 1. First, I've got a lot of experience looking after kids. 2. Second, you can trust me to be reliable. And 3. And third, I'm always interested in educational play with children. This has now become super clear to listen to. And by making it that easy for your listener, you become extremely impressive as a speaker. Signposting works great in academic interviews as well as job interviews. Let's give you an example. I'm interested in studying psychology for a couple of main reasons. First, I'm fascinated by what makes people behave in the way they do. And second, I'm really hoping to go into a career in business, and I think that psychology will be a great way to understand how to make good judgments and decisions and to influence other people. Sounds great. But signposting works in less formal situations as well. It's not just about interviews. Let's say you're trying to persuade someone on the prom committee about their dubious entertainment choices. Yeah, look, Susan, I think it's a really interesting idea to have a live jazz band at our prom next month, but I've got a couple of concerns. First, it's going to cost us a lot of money, and we're already worried about our budget. And second, I'm not sure how many of our guests are going to love jazz. When you start signposting like this, there are a couple of things to consider. First, second, you sound great. You sound confident, professional, logical, and persuasive. Before I became an entrepreneur, I spent 7 years as a strategy consultant. And one of the privileges of that career is being able to work with some of the most senior executives. In my case, in the world's largest television and media companies, such as the BBC, Sky, and Comcast. I had the chance to get up and close with some incredibly successful business people, and I noticed them using signposting effortlessly all the time. For them, it had probably become a habit, and they weren't even conscious they were doing it. But it made them far more effective communicators, whether they were in group settings, one-on-one, or up on a stage delivering a big presentation. But there's a problem, I get it. It's kind of tough to be that fluent off the cuff to start with. How do you know you're going to make 2 points or 3 points before you've had a chance to think about it? It can be done with practice, and the key is to get that practice in low-stakes situations. They'll feel a bit contrived. So try it with your family, say next time you're debating where to go for dinner. Hey Mum, I think we should go to Nando's for dinner tonight for 3 reasons. First, chicken is healthy, as a good source of lean protein. Second, it's not too expensive. And third, it's delicious. I know in everyday situations like this, you'll sound a bit ridiculous. But if you let your family in on what you're trying to do, they'll encourage you to help you practice signposting, and you'll quickly start to get good at it. When you start to get comfortable, start to weave signposting into some questions in practice interviews, and eventually into real interviews and presentations. And, with this one technique alone, you'll already start to come across far more strongly and ultimately be more likely to succeed whenever you speak. By the way, if you're interested in developing your speaking skills further and talking about some of the other aspects of speaking well that we haven't had a chance to cover today, I'd encourage you to check out my 3-week program, the Young Business Creators Challenge, which is built around developing the craft of speaking, not just how you structure your speech, as we've talked about today, but also the art of choosing what to say, in particular building a compelling story arc that people find irresistible to listen to, and even how to train your very voice to be more exciting and interesting to listen to, while, as I say, remaining authentically your voice. Check out the link below this video if you want to find out more about the Young Business Creators Challenge. And with that, please don't forget to practice your signposting, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2 of the 6 Secrets of Success. Thanks for watching.